Dan from 4MS Company, and we're here in Portland. And we just made a new thing called the Spherical Wavetable Navigator, the SWAN, as I'll call it from now on. And it is this here. It is a 6-channel synthesizer. It has 6 VCOs, 6 LFOs, which also function as envelopes. It has a bunch of VCAs too. And all the VCOs are wavetable based. So when you morph between different waveforms within tables, we call it a sphere because of the way the wavetables are organized. They wrap around in 3 different dimensions. So here's one dimension you can hear. 1, 2. So I'm wrapping around. Here's another dimension. And here's a 3rd dimension. So if you want to know why it's really not a sphere, it's really something else, a 3/4, you should look at the manual. It's awesome. So or just Google 3-torus. There's some really cool. Anyway, yeah, you have waveforms. I'm not going to get in like super beginner, like what is a waveform here, because I think most people here are pretty up on that already. So I will show some of the basic things you can do with the SWAN, and then dive into some more advanced things. So first, let's see. Let's start the blank slate. What I just did is I loaded a blank preset. I'll be using presets throughout this. It's preset in the sense that I created it. Well, if you on your SWAN, you would create it. It's not like a preset that comes from the factory. So it comes as a blank slate. You make all your presets. And I'll get a little more into that in a minute. So this is just sine waves. It's a sine wave, and all 6 channels are all tuned together. So the first thing I like to do usually is do some transposition. So I want to give different frequencies to each of the 6 channels. I'm just holding and turning this knob, picking different frequencies. These are chords, pre-written chords. You can also manually set them. And I want to find a timbre that I like. Okay, so I'm going to make a drone here. So this is a good basis for a drone. You can tune it with transposition by semitones. You can also hold down the fine button and tune it by cents. So every click of this knob is I'm changing it by a cent. So 100 turns would be a semitone. And then also octaves. And you can change each channel individually too. So let's say this one I want to be higher. And I want a different waveform on it. That's pretty nice. And then this one I want. So pick different waveforms like that. Set them all. That's too high. I don't like that. So you can set a nice texture like that. You can also apply what we call spread detuning, which is perfect for drums. You hold down the fine button and you push and turn the spread knob. So you get kind of more. Here, let me show you what this sounds like. Start with a blank slit. You just apply a little spread. You can hear the beat frequencies. They've all gone out of tune by different amounts. So if you're, are we hearing? I don't know if you're hearing it stereo where you are, but they're going in and out in different ears because each channel is detuned by different amounts. Sorry, I'll do it on the screen. These channels are detuned by 3 cents every time I click the fine spread. These 2 are detuned by 2 cents every time I click it, and these 2 are detuned by 1 cent. And then these 3 go up, and these 3 go down. So everything goes away. And you can see that display. You can see the red, blue means flat, and red means sharp, and the faster they blink, the farther away from the semitone they are. So you do things like this, and then morph it around. So, one of the things you usually want to do with a drone is to have some kind of motion with it. And this one is already set up for that. It has, you can see these flashing lights here. For those of you on Facebook. These flashing lights. are LFOs. Each channel has an LFO. You can utilize these to modulate itself because there's tons of CD decks down here. So I'm going to take a shape there. You know, the gold one is a sine wave, and I'm going to use this. What's the name of it? I'm going to patch it into the brass jack. So this jack turns this knob, essentially, which is what I was doing. That's a little fast. I'm going to slow that down. So I'm just going to turn all those speed. That's kind of cool. Let me get some. It's still too fast for me. The LFOs can go as slow as 24 hours per cycle. You just keep turning it down. And the way that LFOs work is there's like a base clock internally. When you turn it on, it's just set to 2 hertz, I think. Then there's a global clock divider, and there's a nice chart of this too. Okay, this is not going to work. But there's a base clock and there's a global clock divider, and then each channel has its own clock divider also. When you turn this knob by itself, you're changing the global clock divider. So all the channels speed up or down. Let's say you set it a clock like 24 ppq, you turn the clock divider to 24 or 12 or something like that, then everything would be in sync. Then you can set all your ratios on the channels. Which actually, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'll actually demonstrate this, and after the drum patches played itself out, it's kind of nice. So, but anyways, you can set up, you can slow down the LFOs all the way down to divide by 2, 4, 6, goes down to 64, then it starts going 68, there's 72, all the way down to super slow. And if you start with 2 hertz, and you go down, I forget what the divide by number is, but it ends up being about a day. So, yeah, so that's a great way to make drones. If you have already peeked ahead of the manual, you'll see that the first tutorial is drones, and the next one is melodies. And melodies, I'm going to take off this red detuning because if we make an out-of-tune melody, it's going to sound weird. So you hear that slight detuning effect. Another cool thing you do with drones, right? So I'm going to pull it, reduce that, so just a little bit. And an easy way to make a melody is first pick a percussive LFO shape. This LFO to VCA button here. When you push this button here, the LFOs are routed to a VCA for each channel. So in here you can hear the clock divider thing I was talking about. If I turn down one, now it's half speed. Right? Now if I turn the LFO shape knob, I can pick different shapes. And there's a table in the manual. These they start off as ramp down, which sound nice for making notes, and then they get more percussive as you go forward. So here's some nice little melody I can make. So let me show you about these global and channel clock dividers. Let's say I have it like this. I can take one channel and make it go a different speed. Right, so I can change each one to be going twice as fast or 3 times as fast as the global speed. And then I can keep those relationships. And let's give us a second to hear these relationships. Okay, so you hear the repetition. I can just speed everything up twice. Or slow everything down by half. And it keeps the same rhythmic structure. So you can also fine-tune the speed up if you wanted to sync to something. But I'm going to show you a better way to sync something, which is using the clock in jack. So let's go to a preset I made for this. Oh, here's the melody preset, so you can make melodies. Yeah, I just did that. But yeah, let's say I have this melody preset, and now I want to sync to a sound. I have a sampler here. amplifiers because I have a sort of triangle shape here. So I'm going to make a gate. Right? So I'm just triggering another thing because you can use these alpos as a master clock if I speed it up. Right? Or I could just change this channel. Right? So, but more often we find that people want to go the other way, like they already have their clock structure. You know, you already have, I mean, for me, I use whatever's in front of me for like a main clock always, but you already have often like a whole complex clock structure going on, so you want to go the other way. So we have the clock in jack for that. Let me grab. So what am I doing here? Oh, let's say I had this drum loop. Okay, and this is in Ableton, my DAW, or whatever. I have some clock, and I have a clock out that's the same tempo as this loop. Or actually, I just have this on a sampler with it. This fires an end-out pulse every time the loop loops. Okay, so I take that end-out pulse, which is my clock. I feed it in the clock in. You have to give it a measure to read the timing because it's not MIDI. One of the cool things about MIDI is it tracks better, but more quickly. So there, you see the clock light came on. So it is tracking, and we should hear it fire at the start of the beat, or start of the measure. There. Okay, so I'm in tune, I'm in time now. Let me turn up my, this is where the global clock divider comes in. Hey, let me speed this up to twice. So, where am I at now? There. Okay, so I'm in time. So, I could take these and I could start making right, so I'm going to take one channel, pull down this channel button and turn its speed up a little bit. I'm going to turn another channel speed up a little bit. So now you see these are going in the same time together. Another thing you can do is adjust the phase. I'm going to hold this one and I'm going to speed this one up. Or, sorry, not speed up. Change its phase over the time. Thing can be going at its own time. So now we've got like a little rhythm that's in time with that. And if I were to change this, so I'm going faster time, this is going to catch up after one whole complete measure. Right? Another neat thing is, so let's say I have this, and I can save this as a preset. There, I just saved as a preset, and I'm going to load another preset, which is a similar patch where I just create different LFO timings, different notes. Look at this here. Synced up to that same clock. Now I can go to my other preset, right? And load that whole fun thing beforehand. Oddly, I have to learn very fast compared to the other one, but anyways, that's the basic. That's one way you can use these preset things is to save the whole state of the module and then load it at a different time. Let's see. So yeah, you can do clock in, you can do clock out, and that's just presets a little bit. So to use the presets, you turn this knob, and you see a little preset light goes around the ring. Each one of these dots is a preset that I can save in. Right, so and the color's better when you're looking at it, not on the camera, but you don't need this anymore. And when you get to the end, underneath the knob, it wraps around, and this inner light turns up to show a new page. So now I'm on page 2, and I'm on page 3, 4. All these pages have, each of these pages has 18, so I have 108 preset slots. So all you do if you want to save a preset, let's say I have this, I do this cool thing. I can just pick a slot, I hold the button down, it'll blink red, and then I tap it and confirm. Now I've saved that preset. Now I can go back to the last one I had, and then, oh, sorry. You turn the knob to the preset you want to load, and you double tap, and it loads it. So you can save them in pages. You could do copy and paste operations by loading and then saving it to another place, and then you can clear and also undo your preset operations if you accidentally overwrote something. There's a, I'm not going to show it all right now, but in the manual it's pretty simple, all these operations. So the preset manager is super key because you can do a lot on the Swan without patching very much. You can internally route things, and you can find little places of where the waveforms line up and sound really great together, and you want to find that again, you can just save it and use that as a starting place, or you could even create a whole performance just by going from preset, jamming on it, when you're ready to make the next move, maybe turn your reverb up a little bit, load the next preset, and then, hit crossfade over, DJ style. So, or you could just have your presets be your rhythmic structures. So taking the clock divider and the channel clock dividers, you just load that. Now I have a whole rhythmic structure, and I can make whatever sound I want. For instance, you could even use the Swan without even audio, and just use the LFO outs as your rhythms, and just keep your presets as like stored clock divider. The version 1.0, the version that's out now that is shipped, does not have this feature I'm about to mention, but we plan to have it for version 2. And this is connecting to the bus select system that you see in some like Malaco gear, the Varigate 8, Malaco gear, and Make Noise gear uses it, and some other SSF stuff I believe has it too, where you can dial in, like Big Tempe uses it. You can pick a, I don't know what they call it on the Make Noise gear, but you pick a preset basically and load it, or you can also like create a whole configuration and save it. This will have the option to read that bus, so when you load preset 63, it's going to load preset 63 on the Swan too, so you can have everything synced up. So that's pretty, right now you just have to manually do it, but we built the hardware into that, tested it, we just haven't fine-tuned all the protocols yet. So, let me show you one other thing you might not see right away, is key mode. You push both these buttons at the same time here, it goes into key mode, and actually let me just start from a blank slate, because then you know what's going on. So if I push, let's make our melody thing, and let's pick another wavetable. I didn't show you all these controls I'm doing now, but they're all down here. Just turn them and do cool things. It's pretty easy. Push both buttons. Now I'm in something called note mode, where the channels are muted. Previously, these buttons would mute the channels. I didn't show you that, but now these buttons act like buttons on a keyboard, keys on a keyboard. I have sustain, right? So that's kind of fun, but its real power comes in when you use the transpose jack, which is the global 1 volt per octave, or the individual 1 volt per octave jacks on each channel. Because what note mode does is it fires the envelope. The LFO has become an envelope now, technically. That means anything to you. Then it fires that envelope when it detects a 1 volt per octave change, a change on 1 volt per octave line. So I can run anything. This is probably the loop I had loaded before. It doesn't matter into, let's say, transpose. And and she's going to play random notes. Every time that LFO finishes, it checks the transpose jack again, and it says, has it changed? And then yes, no. If it has, then it fires the LFO again. Well, of course it has, but I'm running audio, and this is what I'm running in. So you can just do random notes like that. But maybe you can also do with spread, same thing. Or just do one channel. So maybe more interesting is, but also equally random, is you can take its internal LFO, which only fires when you press the button, so it's an envelope, and use that to spread all the channels. So here, listen to this. So I fire this once. Let me set a longer envelope on this one. Try this. So as this envelope decays, it's seeding the spread amount, which is picking different notes and causing the swan to fire these channels each time it detects its change in note. Oh, turn it on now. And it's maybe not perfectly repeatable, but you can hear it's pretty much the same melody each time because it's the same wave shape. You can do more interesting things with this. Let's take one of these out and use it to trigger that first one again. Sometimes maybe you get a yeah, this is one of those ones if you really like this, save it as a preset because you're maybe not going to hit exactly again. So you also can see if I can get one that's just like run it. Usually you have to do 3. You can also change the envelopes. So I slowed that one down already, but let's say I want these to be backward shapes, like ramp up. Right. So yeah, fun stuff. Generating melodic structures. And since the spread works on, the spread CD and spread not work on semitones, they change the transposition by semitones, then that's why we're getting tonal, like Western chords and stuff. There's scales and quantizations, you can turn that off also, but spread always works on semitones. We did transpose. You're actually hearing that waveform of the, yeah, the different melody. Well, because we have a complex loop here. I was going to show something else, but this is kind of cool. So yeah, key mode. There's another mode called key mode, which is the same as note mode, but it doesn't, it disables the 1 volt per octave thing. So the auto triggering from 1 volt per octave. So the 1 volt per octaves are active, but they only, let's see, what I show you. They only are sampled when the envelope starts. So if you had a sequencer running, or here I just have basically a noise source running in here. So every time I hit it, it samples whatever value voltage is on here and plays that note, and I have it quantized to some scale here. So the lights are very dim on mine because I have it turned down with the camera, so you can't see the color of it. There we go. So now you don't have to stay in 12-tone music if you don't want, which I tend to not, but sometimes it's nice to constrain yourself a little bit. So with some allowable notes and unallowable notes. So let's see. Oh, okay. So that is key mode, note mode. What would happen if I FM with that? I'm going to show you one of the things that makes this wavetable, the oscillators of this wavetable navigator, this wavetable instrument, different than a lot of the other pieces of hardware that you might find, is that you can record, you can create your own wavetables from live audio. So, and this is super cool because you can essentially grab the content of something and then browse around within it. So let me show you that. You can also do it from a computer and like exactly specify your wavetables and stuff. And I might show that because I brought my computer. But let's start with recording audio, recording our own wavetable. I'm going to, I have a, where did I put it? I have a sample I want to play. Let's see. No, that's the same one. Okay. Here. So I have a vocal sample here. Okay, and I want to use this to create a wavetable because I want to get the formats of vocal, sounds, and I can actually make it talk a little bit. So super easy to do. You patch it into the waveform in jack, and you enter this special mode called spherical recording mode by pushing the 3 knobs that have lights at the bottom. So it's one of those secret modes. I could see someone owning their Swan for a long time and never reading the manual and watching videos and then being like, what? I can add my own? So I pushed those 3. They turned orange. You probably can't see in the video. Those are orange. And now I see the lights are flashing over here. So the green one, if I pushed it, it's going to let me monitor. And I had the volume turned down, so let's try it again.
Do not stay away from me. All
Okay.
my bones can be seen.
So I'm monitoring, so I'm like, okay, I'm all loaded up. Now I push the red one, and it's going to wait for a signal to record.
Do not stay
So
away
I
from
push
me.
play, and it records.
All
Okay. That's it. Okay, so you notice a few things are different here. When I turn this browse knob, it's not morphing between the waveforms. Now it's chopping between them. Because in this recording mode or sphere editing mode also, I've recorded it, now I'm going to edit them. You want to hear all 27 of these waveforms in the sphere. And where's my visual head? Sorry, we got a 3D printer at work, so if there's any opportunity ever where I see I can like print a visual aid or something like that, it's gonna happen. So as I turn this browse knob, I'm navigating the sphere. By navigating, I mean we're wrapping around latitude, longitude at the same time. But there's also a 3rd dimension of depth. So imagine the fourth dimensional equivalent of a sphere. This is, we're in a 4D world and we have a 3D. That's why it's a 3 torus. But we're wrapping around in 2 dimensions. If you were just like spiral around, like swirl ice cream cone around the surface of this, now imagine the 3-dimensional equivalent of that. So it's wrapping around, or you could think about the sphere, the space inside this, and it zigzags through a pattern. Every point represents a wavetable, and then of course the points are there's 3 in every dimension. So every one of those 3 points in every dimension is a waveform. Normally, when we are browsing on the Swan, it's morphing, and you hold the find button down, it does that. So it's doing new waveforms between every point, but here it just plays them. Okay, so thank you. I just wanted to show you the sphere we printed at work. Yeah, and obviously, I guess the thing is you can hear it kind of talk. Do not stay away from me. So what can you do with this is, I can do a few things. You can see this whole ring here is my, that represents my recorded audio. So let's say I just want to say, do not stay, or I don't know, what does it say now? It says do not stay away from me, so I just want to say do not stay. So I could hold down the spread and reduce it. And can you see that? Yeah. So it's now the lights are spanning less of the sphere. So let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, let's go even more. Do not stay. Let's go. Right. You hear do not stay. I'm just browsing this portion. If this whole ring was the entire recorded audio, I'm just browsing this portion now. So I've taken my recorded audio and I've chopped it up into 27 slices. But each slice has space in between because wavetables are, by their nature, are 512 samples long.
So you could say this is a preset then?
Yeah, more than, well, you could say this is a sphere, and then you can use the sphere in your presets.
Okay.
I'll show you. I'll show you. You can say, yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, you can save it. Is the answer. You can save it, but it's a sphere because you can use this and you can pick different points in it and assign them different channels and then say that is your preset. But this is a sphere that you have in your collection of spheres inside your Swan. I'll show you saving. Here, like I can move through the buffer of audio, so. Now it's just stay away from me because I move past the do not. You can also like scale it up and down like octaves. Right. Down. Okay. And what else? You can shift. Yeah. Oh, effects. Here's one thing. Let me spread this back. So it normalizes the audio. If I were to turn down the normalization, each one of these buttons is. So that button.
Sorry, don't press that button.
Just, you got a spherical
The yellow button, yeah.
Wow, sorry about that, guys.
It's okay. Something exploded in the background there.
Irresistible.
Yeah, so, anyways, yeah, we got yes, each one of these buttons is an effect, and what represents an effect. So let's say, this first one is wavefolding. So if I hold this down, I can apply wavefolding to just this waveform that I picked. So I can, now go to the next one, there's no wavefolding. There it is. So that's awfully loud. You can also control the gain. What I was doing when I made that noise is the normalization. You can normalize, you can denormalize just regular as a recorded volume, which is cool with vocals because the spaces between the words are now actually the volume that we recorded at. But it makes kind of boring wavetables often because you have these like silent waveforms. So usually normalization we want up. There's a seam smoothness amount. So since if you just record audio in and chops it up into 512 samples, who knows if your endpoint, your start port are going to line up. So it has automatic seam smoothness, which is turned on by default. You can turn it down if you want when it gets buzzy. You have that. So there is a metalizer effect. It's like adds a lot of high harmonics. I'm sorry, this is the bit decimation effect, which also has a lot of high harmonics. So it makes it kind of like 8-bit, 6-bit, 4-bit. And then this is the metalizer.
Yeah. Sure, it's not sample rate.
It is, yeah, it's bit reduction because it picks allowable values in the voltage dimension, so of the wave. So at the lowest setting, it'll be rectangular waves only because it'll only be max and minimum. At the next one, you have 3 allowable values. So if you have like a 8-bit sample, then you have 256 allowable values. If you have a 4-bit sample, you have 16 allowable values. So it just brings that down. So it's like sample rate reduction can sound like this too, but this is a and metalizer, and then a low pass filter. Nice, there's a brick wall low pass filter. So yeah, you can apply effects to just one waveform. You can also push and turn this knob and apply it to all the waveforms. So now all my waveforms are low pass. So I just have this really rumbly one. It would probably be cool if I pitch it up and turn the octave up. Okay, it's not that cool. You never know. So maybe we can turn it down. So okay, whatever. I'll stop trying to tell you that it's really cool to turn your low pass filter all the way up. So that's cool. Okay. Yeah, so you can mess around, do your effects. You can preview it by, I'm turning octave here, which is not changing my what I just recorded or my wavetable. It's just letting me hear what it sounds like in different octaves. Same with transpose. You know, what does it sound like there? What does it sound like when I make a chord? You know, you can still use the one level octave decks and stuff just to preview it. It doesn't save any of that. So, saving. Oh no. To unplug it, replug it? We lost in the entertain you with Satan voices.
It's a hypersphere.
It's actually a hypertoroid. So, oh yeah, let's talk about toroids. So, if you were standing in a room
Yes.
that was a three toroid, a hypertoroid, I guess, torus, if I looked directly this way, I would see the back of my head. In any direction you walk, imagine you're walking on the surface of the earth. If you walked around in a straight line, you know, with no water, you would end up right where you were, started, facing the same direction, right? So it's not a mirror, because a mirror is your face. So if you went in any direction, you would end up right back where you were, facing the same direction. So it's the same when you navigate around. You end up back where you were, facing the same way. You're still going the same direction. You didn't bounce up here. So, do we have to? Oh, no. Did it just pop out? Was it on and off?
It was on.
Okay. All right. It was So what would a 5-dimension done?
I think the sphere is hacked for camera.
Yes. Well, the camera's trying to do the 4th dimensional, and it's just not working. So, yes, can you save your spheres? Yes. Here's how you do it. You do the same way you save a preset. You turn this knob, preset knob, which is actually saving a sphere. Can you see? Yeah, they're different colors. Each one of these is different colors. Wherever I have blues, wherever I end up, I pick, my sphere is going to be that color. So we represent it by that color when you're at the normal mode. So let's pick whatever. Let's just pick a blue. I have a lot of spheres in here, so whatever color you pick is going to be one. Here's a nice blue. So I'm going to hold it down until it goes red. Let go. Tap it again to confirm, so you don't accidentally hold it down and save over something. Yeah, but
Does it just save the sphere in like the available slot for the sphere?
no. It saves it in wherever you put it. Like, so what I was just doing when I was picking a color,
Yeah.
I was picking there's 108 slots. Each one has a.
So that's going to put it in sort of a different slot?
Yep.
So when you browse through the spheres, does it skip empty slots?
It skips empty slots. Exactly. Yeah. 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 So when you first get your swan from the factory, it has 12 spheres, and they all have this similar color scheme. Wait. So. Yes. So that's the color I picked, right? I'm on that sphere. I didn't mention this, but the inner ring represents your sphere selection. So here I can push and turn. So that's a sphere I recorded a while ago. So this is the demon voice one we just did. I meant to record one that was so that's the thing we just made. If you push and turn, you can pick all different ones. Format filters. Yeah, so you get 108. So the one caveat about how it skips empty spheres is that there's this feature called wavetable spread over here, and when you push and turn that, it assigns each channel to a different sphere. And so it pushes them, so they're all in like sphere like 23, so it pushes them like 22, 24, like away from each other. It also skips empty slots, because you always want to skip empty slots. But if you go and then you add a slot in there, and then you go back to wavetable spread, now your spread pattern is going to sound different. It's always going to go to like the 6th sphere, non-empty sphere from where we are, but what sphere that is, if you start adding more in between, it's going to change. So what that means is that if you made a preset and it uses wavetable spread, and then you go and add spheres in the middle, like where that wavetable was, it's going to change sound.
So when you did that save, were you saving both a preset and a sphere in one action?
That save I just did was saving a sphere.
Okay, so you only
Yeah.
saved a sphere.
Yeah, so the preset, I can use this sphere in presets or not use it in presets. I can always find it by going back to this blue one.
But basically, if you're in sphere recording mode, you're just saving spheres on.
Yeah, not presets,
Never
yeah.
saving presets in sphere recording.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. So you don't really need two knobs, save sphere and save preset, because you can only use one at a time anyways. So, yeah. And the display's a little different. It's like colored when you're doing spheres. So
many cars.
is this just some time? Can I show sphere at it? Is it good? We're good. Okay. Let me show you sphere edit. This is software.
This is HDMI out. You want to do HDMI direct?
Good. If that's
Is that not
gonna,
HDMI right there?
yeah.
It'll
We
work.
still come back to this one.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. This is if you're seeing this at home, it's or wherever you are on your phone. This is I have a laptop. It's a Mac. It runs on Windows. It runs on Linux. This is a fork of the program called WaveEdit by Synthesis Technology, which is awesome software, and it's open source. And I took it, the source code, and added some features that make it suitable for the Swan. So the wavetables are 512 samples instead of 256, and they are arranged in a 3x3 grid, so there's 3x3 grid, so there's 27 of them. And there's a handy button called Play into Swan, which lets you transfer your wavetables directly to the Swan's waveform inject, and that's what I'm going to show right now. So besides all that, yeah, there's all these effects you can add, and I'm not going to show you how to use this program. It's awesome. It's much thanks to Andrew Belt and Synthesis Technology for making this available. So it's a great, I love it. Let's see. I'm gonna try and put this so it doesn't bump anything, but I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna plug into the waveform in jack. I'm gonna go to wavetable record mode, and I'm gonna monitor so we can just make sure the laptop is. Well, just played, but so here I have a wave. A sphere here, and you can browse through different waveforms, and you can apply effects to them and stuff, individual ones, and then you can do all kinds of things. You can visualize it with in 3D, and then you can add in little snippets, little primitives like sine wave. You can start with a sine wave and then do things. You can also edit the FFT content directly. I'm gonna undo that. So yeah, it's great. So and you can save this whole thing, and all the 12 factory presets from the Swan come with this when you download this. There's a folder that has all our spheres, so you can work on a sphere, save it. So you can take the factory ones, start modifying them, and then save them as your own custom sphere. So let's just make a custom sphere. Here is this one. That's gonna hurt later. Let's just do. So here's. I'm gonna turn on browse speed, just automatically turning the browse knob. This is my wavetable. It's 27 waveforms. It's a harmonic sequence series. So I'm going to show you how to use the play into Swan button. How to use it is you press record on the Swan. I'm already in wavetable record mode. See, it's waiting for a signal, and then I push this button called play into Swan. And it did it. Okay, I'm done with the computer. So what it just did is it knows how long the Swan's buffer is, the software knows, and it repeats the waveforms. It has to be 8 times in order, so it makes the buffer, so times 27, makes it 2.5 seconds long. And the Swan hears that, takes those 8, and it gets a pretty reasonably good quality because it has enough material to work with there. And they're sized the right, unless something's wrong with your sound card, they should be at the exact number of samples that the Swan wants. So here's our wavetable. Right, just transferred it in. So this is a cool wavetable that's not built into the Swan, but it does come with Sphere Edit, and you should load it in because it's a harmonic series, which is really cool to have six different harmonically linked signals and mix them all together. So here, I could apply effects and kind of stuff I want, but like, let's do a little bit of that. No, it's not. Okay. So let's just save this. I'm going to save. So here I'm saving a sphere. I'm going to save it as. I'm just going to save it as the first blue one. Whatever I had there is gone now. Okay, so now I have a blue one, right? Everything's blue. I'm in my blue sphere. Let's browse. So here I can browse through. So now if I set dispersion, which is setting each channel to a different point in the sphere, they're all playing the same note, the same frequency, bass frequency, but since they're all a different harmonic, we have all these distinct things going on here. So yeah, you need some kind of vocally stuff. Doing what I normally do to try out a wavetable I just made, or spherical wavetable I just made. Browse through it and set the channels at different points. You could do some detuning. If you have stereo, it should sound cool. We set different notes, so now their fundamental frequency has changed, but the harmonics, they're still the same number harmonic from that, so yeah. So that's the table we just made from Spirit. Okay, I'm open for questions. Yeah.
So, in the context of something else, another sampler, let's say, or another module, what do you expect to do with it? Do you expect it to be the controller and dance around in those things, or do you expect them to be able to get into it in certain places?
Well, either way, and it works pretty well standalone.
Yeah,
As almost everything I've been doing here, and this is just kind of scratching the surface, is I've done just pretty much standalone and maybe using a sampler.
Right. But that's why I asked about outside.
But yeah, so outside, yeah. So the way you would run things in to synchronize them, you'd run if you had external LFOs or envelopes or anything. All these CV jacks, like this one, sphere, browse, and then this one is the sphere selection, which usually super harsh because it's sweeping through all available spheres, right? You have more subtle stuff like this is dispersion, so it's pushing them apart. So you can run all your LFOs and sync or clocks too, work great for these. Just kind of, or gates probably better. Dispersion pattern, the latitude, and then the wavetable spread, which is a wavetable for. So yeah, if you wanted to synchronize this to something else, that would be the way. And then the clock in, of course, as I showed before, is like the main. If you just want to synchronize the timing, if you have a rhythm or timing-based patch, if you just have like some modulation sources, you want something to be happening there. Then we have tons of CV jacks, spread CV, transpose CV, which is going to shift the pitch up and down. Spread's just going to pick different notes. So it's pretty chaotic here because we picked a more simple. This is the one we had before. It's still pretty chaotic. But if you had a real slow moving one, you could, just shift the pitch a little bit. Like that. Right. So the timing of that. And then going out, you have the 6 LFOs. So if you want to use this, like your first example is you have these 6 LFOs which provide timing information.
Yeah.
So you can, I performed with this, I don't perform right after, so, yeah, I was on the road. But I played once, and I just used the Swan for modulation sources. I just used the LFO outs. And it was great because I had presets and I had there's 6 LFOs right there, you know. And in a pinch, if I was like, my other thing wasn't working, I could probably patch into the audio and bring something interesting up if I needed to, which luckily I didn't have to. But so yeah, you can just use it as the head of the chain.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like what I was saying before, clock in, and then now you have 6 synced LFOs, and then you can unsync them with the find button. I didn't show that, but they don't have to be on a grid.
Huh.
You do it too. The fine tuning is like times 4.1, times 4.2, whatever. So yeah. Does that answer? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wasn't looking for an answer.
Okay.
I was looking for a response, and it's very responsive, I think, what you're talking about.
Cool.
Who knows until you start?
Yeah, you're just gonna have to dive into this. But yeah, you can use it on a lot. It fits in a lot of places. It does a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
So if I wanted to trigger, so like in note mode, if I wanted to individually trigger the, each VCO, would I use the 1 volt per octave and then just have like the CD like trigger each one when I wanted it to?
yeah.
Is that how that would work?
Yeah, so when, like from a sequencer or something, or a keyboard sequencer probably, yeah. So you would have, you can run 6 1 volt per octaves lines into these 6 jacks here. Each time the note changes, it'll trigger that envelope. So that is a limiting factor, because if you want it to go then the note didn't change, so it's not going to fire that. We can do it.
Something you really know well.
Oh, I know this one. I have the one to explain.
Here.
So yeah, let's show that. This is actually, I somehow I got the eloquencer like right when we were developing the 1 volt per octave section. I was like, cool, I'm gonna use this. Let's show that.
Yeah.
But that, yeah, so so there's a unofficial, this isn't really recorded, right? So there's an unofficial idea for a feature that is not on this, so don't expect it to be on there, but where an advanced feature where it would remap these CV jacks into gate inputs, because there's enough of them. So you do 6 1 volt per octave CV inputs here, and then 6 trigger inputs here, and each time it gets the trigger, it would fire the envelope. You would lose CV control of your wavetables, so you'd have to set that up manually or save it in presets or something like that. But you'd get 1 CV jack for a wavetable, for waveform selection. But yeah, so you can do this. Is there a?
Just
Okay, so yeah, for instance, let's go to note mode, and let's write a little track here. I guess you can't see it on the screen, but I'm gonna go live record and do CD keyboard. So that's channel A, which I actually have plugged into the. It's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, so there, channel. So from the eloquencer channel A, I had going there. You can see just A is firing because just those notes are changing. Now I switch to channel B. I'm gonna program a little 16-step thing in there. Oh, this is beautiful. I'm gonna save this. You guys can leave this powered on because I don't want this to get erased.
Save it as a sphere.
Yeah, I can save. Isn't there like a random?
No, check it out. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
now if same thing that he was talking about before.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna program on this now.
C minor. So that's
Right, so you can pick backward sounds. Right, so they're only firing when it changes. You can also do like the global thing. Right, and each channel can mean different things, so I could have these 3 be in So I can have these three be, I don't want that now. Doing a thing. Drone thing I'm doing. And then these three, I just faded them down, but I'll be doing my sequence. I don't know what's wrong with it. Yeah, so you can do your weird stuff if you want like that. Yeah, so anyways, you can have each channel be doing different things. Yeah.
And I think as I was mentioned before, but there's like a default stereo spread,
Oh yeah.
right?
There's it's stereo out, and there's channels. Well, the evens go to the right channel, and the odds go to the left channel. Except they're letters, so they're not really even and odd. But anyways, these three. Yeah, it's just like the SMR if you have that. Let me get back to. So yeah, these three are the left channel, and these three are the right channel. Let's load our jam preset. Okay. Yeah, and it's mono in because you're making wavetables with stereo out. So wavetables are mono. But I just had a great idea. What if you had stereo wavetables? That'd be cool. So probably.
Can you describe again what the three axes of the sphere are?
Yeah. So we call it depth, latitude, and longitude. And these three, the knobs that have lights are the most like, ooh, this one. They navigate the three dimensions. It could be X, Y, Z, but I like the metaphor of latitude and longitude because when you go around latitude, you reach kind of. Longitude works that way, but if you think about latitude the same, it's round. So you can think about X, Y, Z when you get to 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2 like that too. So it's just three positions. Maybe I could. Am I on the right track to answering what you're
Well,
asking?
then how would you map audio onto a sphere?
Okay. So it unrolls that in the spiral, the thing I was trying to show with this. So
So you start out with a two-dimensional.
yeah, so this was wrapped up in a sphere, right? And when I turn the browse knob, I'm wrapping around like that. And then when you go to record, it unwraps it. And it records your audio across like this and then wraps it back up. So the browse knob, which is the big knob in the center, when you turn that, it runs along the length of this. So it doesn't matter if it's wrapped up or not, because you still hear the same thing. But when you turn these lit up knobs, depth, latitude, and longitude, it browses up like that, or this way, of the wrapped up thing. So you're jumping from point to point.
Mm-hmm.
So you're now getting 3D around within this surface and wrapping. Makes sense?
Okay, a little bit. If
Okay.
you start out with a recording, a mono recording,
Yeah,
it's in the time domain,
yeah,
and then that then gets mapped in a spiral around a sphere.
yeah. I mean, it's a metaphorical spiral. In memory, it's saved as a 3x3x3 matrix. So you can, if you have a computer programming background, but so if you, let's see, that was just like you can take this, time domain, time axis here.
Yes.
I actually take a bunch of little slices out of this, and then imagine I took this tube, and I cut up little slices that were shaped like cubes. And then I took 27 of those little cubes. And then I took them in the same order that I chopped them up, and I stacked them in a 3x3 grid to make a bigger square. And then I stacked 3 of those 3x3 grids, and then I took each of them and put them on top. So now I have a cube. It's 3x3x3. Each one of those blocks is originally from the thing that I recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And they're set in a particular order that when I turn this knob knows the order to go through that reproduces the order that I stacked them in. So, and if you don't use this knob and you just use the depth, latitude, or longitude,
You can hop on.
then you can just hop around. Yeah, and it doesn't just hop, it morphs. So you're either exactly on a waveform or you're in between 8. Because you're in between a left and a right one. There's like, if you're in this, if say I'm in this room, let's say over here is the first one I recorded, over here's the second one I recorded, here's the third one, etc. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. There's another layer, 10th, 11th, 12th, right? Anywhere I am, I'm halfway between number 1 and number 2. I'm also, 25% between this 1 and 2, and 10 and 11 are above me, so I'm crossfading between them. And I'm a little bit towards 3, 4, and 5. So I have to crossfade between 1 and 2, 4 and 5, 10 and 11. And then also the ones in front of 10 and 11, I'm a little bit towards them too. So 12, 13, 14, I'd be near. So those are 8. There's 8 that you're always combining. So anytime you hear sound coming out here, it's actually, each channel is a combination of 8 different points, 8 different waveforms within whatever sphere that channel is assigned to.
Yeah.
They're neighbors, yeah. Each channel can be assigned to a different sphere, so you can actually be hearing a combination of 48 different waveforms at any given time. So,
The interpolation is very fast.
yeah, that part's pretty easy. It's reading the data from the memory, from the flash chip, turns out to be a bottleneck. Because yeah, you want to put audio rate CD in there all over the memory chip, and it's got to be able to handle that. So.
Can you add effects to things live, or go back and re-edit spheres?
You can re-edit, yeah. The effects aren't live, unfortunately. They're yeah, I can go and take this table and be like, just add that to that one waveform, and then I can save over or whatever, save it. So now I added that effect to that waveform. You can save it as a new sphere, or save over the old one, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. You can add effects in a dimension. I didn't show this, but if you hold the effect button and you turn one of these dimension knobs, you can add effects just in that dimension. So that's useful if you want to be like, whenever I want to turn this up, I want more metalizer. You could just record a sine wave and then be like, I want this to be my metalizer. It kind of will be, because if you just apply metalizer in this dimension, then as you turn it up, but it wraps, so it's not just like turn up the metalizer and also if you keep turning, it's going to go back down too. So yeah, you can use it in that way, but really effects are going to be better with like an actual effects thing. But you can edit your spheres. Yes.
Can you export the spheres back into the software?
Not yet. Yeah, version 2, it'll be there. We thought when people first get it, they're first going to want to import spheres in. So we made sure that works, that's solid, works with Sphere Edit. Exporting back into Sphere Edit or exporting onto your SD card or anything that records. And then, it's fairly trivial. But you would just hit a different button combination. It would play the same thing that you heard when we played it in the Swan and the Sphere Edit. It would play that, so you could record it onto your sampler or your wave recorder or your phone if you can have that dongle that does that or whatever. Or right in your computer. And then now you have a 2.5-second wave file, which you can play back into your Swan or someone else's Swan. So you can back up your spheres that way. And the data isn't, what I'm saying, it's not like, doesn't sound like a modem. It's not encoded in any way where you're not going to know, what was this, which sphere was this? Like if you just play it, open an audio editor, there's your waveforms. You can see it, you can play them, you can modify them, and save it back in. So, yeah.
You guys gonna make a 3-dimensional controller now?
Yeah. 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 So it's deep. It's a deep module, and it's also very fun just to play. You don't have to understand everything because everything kind of does something. Not kind of. Everything does something right away. You may not know what you're doing, but you hear it right away. So it's and if you get to somewhere and you like it, you can just save it as a preset. If you learn that one maneuver, how to save and load presets, you're gonna have some fun. So Yeah. So there's swans here for people to play. Unless there's more questions.
Questions?
It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks
Thank
for doing
you.
that. Thanks
Yeah.
for all the info. Thank you guys for coming. Stick around, ask questions. There's a ton of swans to play
Swans
with.
around.
Swans everywhere. Anyway, and there's free PCB layout stickers, limited time only.
Oh, in the new man, we just posted the full user manual online today. If you bought a Swan, you only have the first 28 pages of the manual. Sorry, I'll give you one once we get them printed. We have the PDF versions online. It's by the time you've read all 28 pages, the new one you'll have it. Yeah. It's pretty much what I talked about here, so you have it. Yeah.
Sweet. Swans.
Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Too damn good, man. Too good.
You're right. Good stuff.
That was fun. Thanks for the Joseph. Yeah.
You be safe in, Berlin and stuff like that. I know, that's what I'm saying about you. I won't see you. Well, that's, a civilized place. Not even snow.
Is that right?
No, it's Hamburg. There was a
Freeway interchange.
Yeah, just for 2 seconds, Stephen Cliff was like, you should show a keyboard, and I was like,
Yeah.
give him the whiteboard. That's how I said it.
Well, it wasn't really because the person who took them to the club didn't tell them beforehand what they were getting. Yeah, it didn't work.
Let me just set this up. Good talking to you, man. Yep, thanks again.
What day do you have? Yes, I'm leaving.
Maybe that was
Hello. Don't send me one right now. No worries. I've got 3 weeks of intensive work, then 2 weeks of recuperation, fixing it after that. Then I'll dive in. It'll probably be sold out, but there's a lot of time. Yeah, I can just okay. Have a great trip. So you're going to be gone for 2 weeks. Yeah. Fun. So you're going to be there. You're going to be in Super Booth for a couple, 3 days. Yeah, we'll be there for Super Booth. We don't know what we're and then where else are you going? Rug's fun. Rug's fun. Well, Berlin's fun. Yeah. It's been a long time coming in now. Alright, sounds good. Excellent. Alright, good.
Yeah, the real surprise is how you can decouple it.
Yeah, if you and me started. Yeah. You got, yeah, if we held this one in, this channel alone will change functions, and all of a sudden now you got something.
What? Tycho's FM, man. Told me it wasn't FM. Tycho's FM?
Yeah. It's all the same color.
You go FM drum voice. Did I say it wasn't?
Okay, I gotta turn each one. So what am I talking about? The long way.
Too many modules. He said, no, that's just a really cool analog. Really? Too many modules in my head. I was like, which one was that?
But you can have one anyway.
So you wouldn't have to like try to isolate the cells quickly and get them like that. It's like
I have one. A friend is supposed to drop one off for me. I haven't seen it. Oh, no. I'm hoping to see it soon. I've never had a Scorpion. So, $50. I got mine. It's an old Hitachi. Hitachi? I just left it. Hitachi for 7 years. And Creed's, which was Tektronix before that. So,
it's like this uniform thing where everybody
Flipping four is kind of crap. Alright, I need to get out before I spend more money. Alright, get out of here, man. Enjoy, man. Thanks for the biz. See you around, man. Hey, you want one of these?
you can start seeing the
Yes? Did you get one of these?
Yeah, I got one. Okay. That's what they have to say. My daughter will like it. So they're just like radically in between. And that's what gives it this weird kind of nice buzz. You know, that's, yeah, so it took me a while to get into like the push turns. Spread too, if you want to make a chord. It's like that easy.
No, that was cool. That was the first thing.
Yeah, it took me a minute because I kept trying to be like, okay, let me make a chord now. It was like everything, I was like, okay, now it's a chord. And that me and how I would make it. Yeah, the density in this format is what's crazy.
But then I don't know, honestly.
Did you guys get all the different? It spoke to me just like
I felt bad about it.
if you don't have to turn on all the traps, the moment I start clicking around, turning on the speaker, yeah, exactly.
No, I'm with you. Because I love the ability. Well, yeah. It's like the holy grail. So this is like a little zero.
A lot of people have fun. I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll show you the real. Yeah. So this is like, so this is my like. Yeah, so I've got it in orange. So this is but this is my.
So do you want to give us a check for that?
You go back. I wasn't sure if you were going back to
I'm going back, yeah. And the paper one that's in there has the amount. Thanks for hosting us. Good to hear everything. Talk about everything. I was ready to jump in with questions if there was something you forgot. Now he's just got to say it all in German next week.
17 times. 17 times.
They always, but it's like a different Oh, you did? So I guess, yeah. That sounds good. It's a waveful. It's, but in the most way. I had it the other day. I was like, yeah. It's like the greatest honor. These mornings for me for a second, and I was like, wait, I my one friend is like using it a lot for another year, but I think he gets so.
I assume that means the sales were good.
Well, so that's
Good to hear. There's definitely been some good help you guys online. Hopefully, you'll sell more because people actually have it in their house. People make videos.
because I love the. It's amazing. Yes. Correct.
Excited, man.
It's like a fun to sell me too because we don't play with it and it's catchy.
Yeah, it's really
we're like hashing up things for fun because we're trying to enjoy
yeah, we
ourselves.
can actually relax a little bit, or we can
coming back
keep
around
coming
this
back up on
device
some
that
things
now,
that we put down and we're
you know,
on this.
cutting up chunks
But we just build
grooves
it.
on it, like it's become something that I didn't know was going to be like.
I don't think it'll
It's not really great keyboard. Yeah, even just like it's like and then you just hear it back.
Well, the thing is, so some
I might have to remind him because we'll figure it out. Send some else.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it later. Okay. Yeah, and obviously it's used, so it's mine. $100 Thanks. I sent you an invite to my housewarming. If you can forgot to,
We're leaving. Is it on Sunday?
it's on the 19th.
That's the day we come back.
The day you come back. Probably not that way because we know we're like 16 hours.
Well, I appreciate the invite.
In case you're not super jet lagged, just come by for an hour or whatever.
Honestly, if we're not super, I'm coming.
Okay.
Because I
Love
see
to see
like
ya.
all my friends are gonna be there, so I'm down.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Well, have fun in travels.
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
I'm jealous of Zach. He's going this year.
Oh, is he? Cool. Who else is going?
Just down to Melissa. She's already over there.
Plan on stopping by Noise Kitchen because we're stopping by Talk too on our way back. So.
This right here, I know what challenge you're playing. Oh yeah, this thing's awesome. I love that. It's like